Hello. Hey.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. How about yourself?
Not bad.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
Are we good to get started?
Yep.
Looks like we have one agenda item today. Feel free to add more if anybody has any. Looks like the first is Nilek. I mean, the first and only.
Right. Yeah. So I think it's sort of a low-hanging fruit from our website and artifact hub exercise. We have a mutation artifacts that are there on the Gatekeeper library. So I was just curious, just wanted to check with everybody, like, how should we put it on the website or artifact hubs and things like that? Like, just wanted to get everybody's opinion, what we can do, or where can we put it?
So I think the mutation stuff is like fundamentally different from a constraint template in that a mutation is more analogous to a constraint, right? You put that on the cluster and it does something, right? So it's more example oriented. I don't know what that means for Artifact Hub, right? Like, are we putting examples on Artifact Hub? It seemed like we are just putting templates, and the examples were in the documentation for the templates.
All right.
So, yeah, for the website, yeah, and this is again like a discussion we've had before, right? Around what place do mutations have in the library, right? and some of that is the library didn't have like a strong thesis around it as to like what it should be. Is it a place you go to grab constraint templates that then you can author policy for? Is it a place that provides like examples and policy guidance, so on and so forth? I don't think it necessarily needs to have like that strong of a singular identity. Now that we have at least a website, right, and we're not just dealing with a single directory structure, there's maybe room for a more guided user experience, right? Like, hey, check out some examples for how mutation might work with these policies or whatever. I think also what was interesting is mutation in the library, from what I remember right, was especially salient when we were talking about like as close to a direct replacement for PSP as possible. And I think that thread is a little worn at this point, right? Like PSP kind of has less of a presence now. And PSA/PSS has supplanted that, and those don't support mutations. So I am wondering if that changes the tenor of this conversation. I mean, there's also, yeah, now I think about it, for something with constraints, right? If we wanted to have example PSS implementations, that would require placing some constraints somewhere, right? And that seems to me to be more of a sibling use case to actually having like example mutators as well.
So what's the proposal?
So that was more just me like loading all the context I'm aware of for the discussion. I don't know if I have a solid proposal other than one, I don't think mutators belong on Artifact Hub, just because they're, you know, like constraints aren't on Artifact Hub other than examples for constraint templates, and we have no equivalent there. And also, I'm open to carving out a place in the library for mutators. And I personally think that if we do that, a good fit for it would be the same kind of place where we would put example PSS implementations into the library, which I don't think we have. And so maybe we can hit two birds with one stone there. And as part of that, we would need to sort of develop the user story around, hey, if you're here to consume templates, here you go. And also look at these example use cases if you're interested.
Sorry, what's the PSS thing? Like
Possibility
what?
standards.
I mean, like,
Oh.
what do you want to add for PSS?
So I don't think we currently have an example set of constraints that is like each of the tiers of PSS.
So
You mean
like
a
putting the existing
grouping?
things into a bucket.
Yeah, like a grouping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could do like a symlinks or something.
Yeah. Yeah, we should do that. Okay. I definitely think we should put mutation in like our own website, because it's gonna help users discover it as well. I get the concern about whether or not it should be an artifact hub, sorry. I see why it shouldn't be treated like the existing constraint templates, obviously. But it might be good to, and maybe this is even like a separate type. I still think there's value in discoverability though.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're not saying stuff that's incompatible, right? I think what I'm saying is now that we have a website associated with the library, we have the ability to create these two paths, right? Where here is our consumable content and here is our list of examples or relevant sort of like follow these patterns kind of documentation.
So Nilik, I don't know if that exactly answers your question, but I think we might need like another proposal, like a more concrete proposal for how we want to organize mutation stuff.
Yeah, I was actually trying to figure out the sharing part on
The sharing part?
I was trying to
Oh,
share
okay.
the screen. Can you see the screen? Or, I
Yeah,
don't know.
Yeah.
Which window are you looking at?
OPA Gatekeeper Library website.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, to me, I think it kind of looks straightforward to me at least. So, I mean, if we would want to treat this just as yet another type, maybe we can just add it like here, like below whatever we have it. But I just want to make sure, like, does it confuse user or?
Well, that was my point, is that this is a different path, right? Like, and maybe that means the website needs some refactoring, right? Like maybe these, if we look at the left menu here, the general and pod security policy, that now falls under they're now subheadings of root heading of like templates or something.
Yeah, maybe
And
we need
then-
like a validation as a top level instead of general and pod security policy. I mean, they'll be under the validation.
Right.
I see.
Some sort of top level heading. We can like bike shed on naming elsewhere, but
Okay.
then there would be a still another top level heading where we could put examples in there, and one example would be pod security standards, right? And those three tiers, and another example would be whatever examples we deem relevant for mutation.
Got it. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think, okay, now I'm clear. So let me just probably write some real quick doc and then I'll share it with you so that we can have like a structure in mind before we do any changes here.
And then for mutation specifically, we can call out like a big disclaimer. Hey, this is like examples only.
Sure.
Make sure to customize it, whatever.
Got it. Okay, cool.
Cool. Mission accomplished.
All right, I just
That was
summarized
quicker than I thought.
I just summarized the discussion a bit. So I don't think we like decided how if or how we want to do it for the artifact hub, right?
Yes.
Like, do we want
I mean,
to
I'm
also
for no.
Actually, sorry, can I just
Yeah.
interject it? I'm sort of still going back and forth on the artifact hub thing, and the reason that is because even today we are like just if you look at the install instruction that we have in the artifact hub for our policies, right? We just say like copy this and do in your cluster and you're good kind of thing. Why can it not be the same for the mutation examples? I mean, essentially, I mean, the reason or the way, actually, probably the reason they still exist in our GitHub repo is we expect user to copy it from there and then apply to their cluster, right?
I think there's a couple of thoughts there. One is our current consumption model from Artifact Hub just a for now thing, or is that our expected from henceforth, right? And some of this is like the right way to do it, right? Because is Artifact Hub trying to work on some sort of like discovery and deployment mechanism that's built on top of Artifact Hub, right? And so without knowing the sort of thesis around Artifact Hub of how we expect it to evolve and how we expect our advice and usage of it to evolve, it's hard to make an informed decision, right? Which, at least for me, defaults then to like stay conservative to keep our options open in the future for when we do have more information. I think it's a fair observation that we can put sort of whatever CRDs we want or whatever resources we want on Artifact Hub. Like, it's technically possible, for sure. But it's probably good for us to have a strategy around what we're doing and some kind of like coherent vision, right? Versus like doing things because we can. And my current like assumption on like what that vision is was maybe Artifact Hub is a way for discovering, hey, I have these constraints, how do I get the template associated with them? Maybe that's not right. I don't know, but that was my implicit thought.
No, and I think my understanding or the way I'm looking at Artifact Hub is along the same direction only. So it is a way for us to make our stuff discoverable for other stuff, right? So why not then put the mutation also there so that it can be discovered, right? So like if they stumble upon our repo, they can redirect to our website, or if they're on the website, they can go to our library repo, and that's how the discovery will work in that context. Then why not the same with the Artifact Hub? Like, hey, we have these mutation examples, and in install instruction, we just say like, hey, this is how you can do like kubectl apply, and that URL that we have will go there, right?
Well, I think the key word there is examples, right? Like, examples are more documentation oriented, right? So if someone decides to ship just constraints, for example, right? And these constraints have like, you know, the kind that leads them back to a constraint template, they'll have this versioning metadata. It could be that part of Artifact Hub's place in this story is that's where you go to download the template associated with the constraint, right? Is it the place you go to learn about the product generally? I don't know. I see Rita has a hand though.
Hey, I'm using this feature, yay.
But do you have?
I feel like, Max, I think your point is your concern with mutation is because it's not like they're not like constraint templates, right? They're more like constraints. Is that the concern? Okay.
Yeah, well, that and I'm trying to figure out the story around what we're doing, right? Like, what are we trying to build with Artifact Hub versus like, is it just someplace we're putting everything, you know?
It's a place where people often go to discover things that they could use in their Kubernetes clusters, like
Exactly.
right. So to your point, maybe, you know, for certain mutation things that people wouldn't just click on the install button and copy paste, right? They wouldn't do that. But there is possible that, you know, maybe people use it just as a discovery mechanism or like an alerting mechanism to get notified when something gets updated. I'm just guessing, okay? I'm just thinking off the top of my head. To your point, like they could do the same thing on the Gatekeeper website, right? Sorry, Gatekeeper library website. They, you know, what is so special about Artifact Hub? Again, it's for the discovery mechanism, right?
Yeah, well, and also, so my point isn't so much like what is special about Artifact Hub, but more like what is its intended place in the ecosystem, right? Like if you have a Helm chart, right, that seems to me probably a large portion of the contents of Artifact Hub, if I had to guess.
Well, there's a lot of other OCI artifacts. It's not just Helm charts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because the thing about Artifact Hub is there's not much story around it, right? Like it's in terms of like gatekeeper specific story, right? It's you can browse, you can discover stuff.
But isn't that the main purpose? Like that's why we wanted to be on Artifact Hub, so that people could discover us.
Right.
Well, that's the thing where I'm skeptical, right? Like
let me put on my PM hat, because we don't have a PM here. And stop laughing. I mean, because Artifact Hub is already there and people do use it to discover new things, this is why we're there, right? And I would hate for people to say like, oh, I only see gatekeeper constraint templates, so it must not have mutation as a feature. That's an example of where I would actually say there's a lot of value in having mutations examples there. Yes, there are examples, but again, we don't dictate how users use it. And to your point, Max, maybe as we put it out there, maybe we'll actually get feedback from users to tell us, hey, this is not as useful, right? But we would never know if we don't even put it out there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see a coherent strategy here. Is all that is the warning bell that is ringing in my head. It's let's put it there because maybe there are users there, which is a fair reason to like investigate what we want to do, but there's no thesis for how does Artifact Hub fit with Gatekeeper. How do we envision people who discover Gatekeeper via Artifact Hub to be interacting with Artifact Hub? Like, because they discovered a template, why would they discover the associated constraint? How would they discover mutations are also a thing that we offer. Is it about discovery or is it about publishing? I mean, that seems to be the thought here with what you're saying about people finding stuff through Artifact Hub, which, I'm not super familiar with the numbers or patterns, so, I'll take it as a given. So that's where I'm having trouble. It's sure. That I like to, when we make decisions, like sort of point to some sort of like thesis around why, so that the decisions like cohere in the end.
Sure. I guess like it also sounds like you don't the benefit or the values aren't as clear.
Right. Or that so the other reason to have a thesis is that if we make the wrong decision, we could wind up forfeiting the actual value, right? So if we had some kind of strategy for this is what Artifact Hub means to us, these are the stories around how we think people engage with it, then the decision for whether we put mutations on there and how we put mutations on there, right? Whether there's like linking documentation we somehow have, or like put, hey, you might consider if you're using this template, these mutators are, I don't know, because there's no strategy. But like if we had that, it would be much easier to sort of like make these decisions, right? Because we would know, oh, this is in alignment with the overall fit that we see.
Also, I just want to say, I realize the kind is gatekeeper policies. It doesn't like, it's not like if we were to support mutation, it would be different, right? It might be different.
Should we change it to gatekeeper rather than gatekeeper policies?
I'm not suggesting any changes. I'm just saying like maybe at the time when we were
Semantic.
adding, maybe we should have called it like validation policies as opposed to
Yeah.
just policies. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, this is where it's an example of where a thesis of what we're actually trying to do, like we would have been better able to see,
Sure.
like, oh, we want multiple kinds or a single kind or
We can
whatever.
always change it though. It's not like it's written in stone.
Right.
That's true.
Yeah.
I have another thought. The mutation policies that we have today, or the examples, can we associate that with existing validation policies? And then we can say that, like, hey, let's say, let me take an example, like SE Linux samples. There is one like that, right? So can we say, hey, so if you're using SE Linux validation policies, then here is also how you can mutate them and put them together on Artifact Hub.
What kind of policies again?
Like there any regular policies. I just took an example about SE Linux, but my
Well,
point is, like, can we use existing or whatever existing mutation examples we have? Can we associate that with existing validation policies?
I would say at least right now, I wouldn't want to do that.
Okay.
Because with like the PSS stuff, right? It was pretty clear that we wanted to decouple mutation from validation. So if we
I
start
see.
grouping things, even though I can see there's certain values with that, but it's almost like the opposite of that, right? Which is we do want to decouple mutation and validation.
Got it.
And then PSS doesn't have any mutation, by the way. I know
Right.
it's kind of confusing.
And in fact,
PSP
people
did.
asked,
Yeah.
right? In fact, people asked like, hey, in PSP, we have mutation. Why can't we have it in PSS or PSA, whatever the acronym is?
PSA.
PSA.
Yeah,
And
PSP, PSS,
no,
PSA.
PSP and PSA are based on PSS. Anyway, so I think as a project, we should try to like be as close to that messaging, and otherwise it's going to be confusing.
What is the message
The
again?
messaging is like in PSA, there's no mutation, right? Because we want to treat it as a separate thing. Like we don't want to have like these automatic policies that just automatically mutates everything.
So is the messaging purely, hey, mutation is not a policy feature, or is there some stance as to what mutation is for? Does that make sense?
Sorry, say that again.
Is the in that message you're talking about, is it purely, hey, mutation is not something that's associated with policy, these are separate things, right? Which is a negative statement about what mutation is not. Or is there also like a positive side to that coin of here's what mutation is for, and here's how users should think of mutation?
I can look up that KEP where I have to like dig through all the hundreds of messages to find that place where they talked about this, but my gut tells me maybe it's because they didn't want it to be part of the emission controller. Yeah,
which
it's
is
entry controller, right? So
yeah, that's helpful information for like whether we should be coupling these concepts, but sort of leaves us high and dry for like if you do want to use mutation, here's some guidance around that topic. I think one thing that's telling here about Artifact Hub versus the website and that strategy topic is the here's how we should change the website to make these examples clear was a pretty short discussion, right? and the artifact hub, it was much less clear. And that's another smell that and maybe I'm just talking for myself, but I don't get the sense that's true, that we are not 100% sure what Artifact Hub is.
Yeah, I mean, why don't we just push it on the website and then see the feedback, and then we can learn from it and push it or not push it on Artifact Hub.
Yeah, that sounds good.
But I think we should change the existing gatekeeper policies to gatekeeper validation policies, probably that on the Artifact Hub.
I mean, do we want to figure out the story for like just a high level, like literally a few sentence strategy for what Artifact Hub is?
Yeah.
Before we start like swirling around, like renaming.
Sure.
Again, putting on my PM hat, right, is originally when we wanted to put it on Artifact Hub, it's for like discoverability of Gatekeeper and making sure people know Gatekeeper exists, right? So exactly to Sertesh's point, is half of it is for marketing.
Right,
Yeah.
right. But then so marketing is a perfect like keyword, right?
Sure.
Okay, this is a marketing effort.
Sure.
But then you have like a paragraph or a few sentences or whatever, like, so here's how we're using it for marketing, right? Here's how we expect people would engage with it. Here are our goals for like consumption of it, right? Like we would expect people to what, randomly fall on these things, or you know, we're linking somehow. Is there some sort of like call to action where we're, you know, now they're clicking through our various offerings? Does it lead back to the website so they get more clarity on how it's used? Like that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like if we take the perspective of a user who's discovered us on Artifact Hub, what are our hopes?
Sure. I can take a stab at that as well. Like we'll just maybe write some few sentences over there, or try to see how the user could land. And that with the, I mean, this discussion also reminds me that I don't believe from our website or repo we have any redirection to the Artifact Hub.
We also
Maybe
don't
it's
have,
We have a badge, I think,
well, sorry.
in library. But I think we should have more from Gatekeeper side to either the website or the library, because I have been seeing a lot of feedback about like the Rego being hard, and we do provide a lot of examples in the library, and I think there is either the users cannot find the policy examples, or I don't know, maybe we need to put more efforts in sort of like surfacing that information. We do have a little bit up in the README, like, hey, if you need examples, go to the library sort of thing. But I think we need to do more. I just don't know what could be.
I mean, we already linked to library.
Yeah,
right?
but I mean, clearly there is a disconnect between the Rego being hard, right? And that's like its own thing. But we do provide a lot of examples in. Do users can find the library, or are they trying to change this stuff? Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I think sorry, I think it's one thing to give them the library that they can use. It's another thing to know how to write their own.
Right, but I don't know if the question is they're trying to write custom policies.
I think
or
so.
They just cannot find the library. Because I've seen like other they refer to like, hey, other projects have these like useful libraries, but and then the other end is like the Rego is hard.
I think part of that maybe because we only recently just put up the website, right? And
yeah, could be, yeah.
In the past, it's always been like, here's a GitHub link, and most people probably don't know how to, like, you know, they would have to like click to find stuff, as opposed to the website is just everything's right there, right?
Right. Is there, so my question is like, is there anything else we can do to make the library more sort of
visible?
visible, yeah, like in your face, hey, here, go here. Or
More-
is
more-
this the best we can do?
I think there's a lot of room for improvement. So one thing is, what is the user's state of mind when they hit the library website, right? Like, have they dug through the gatekeeper docs that talk some about like, here's how to use constraints and templates and blah, 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 or is the library their first landing page? And do they need some of that guidance in the template library as well? I don't have the contents of the library like top of mind, but is there like a friendly like welcome page of, hey, if you're looking for just some templates, browse through these. Here's like a rough example of how you'd use one of them, so you kind of know what you're looking for. And then if you're coming here and you just have a use case and you want to figure out if we hit that use case, like PSS, take a look at these examples over here. And then, hey, if you're looking to contribute to the library, here's also how you could like write this stuff. And by the way, you could look at our pre-existing templates for examples on how to make that easier. Like, I'm not saying we have none of that. And some of that has like different landing locations for like historical reasons. But I think there's, at a minimum, we can make it more, more guided and a little bit more facile to grok when you're just like landing with no context. And probably we can do a lot more to handhold the authorship experience, for sure.
I mean, one thing is on our main website, the library thing at the top is too small. Like, it's just this like one thing at the top left that says library, and then you assume people know what that means.
Right, and
Right.
and get your test or those sorts. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and like, say I'm just looking at like a Kubewarden's website, right? They have like policy hub like right in the middle, like it's really obvious. So I think we could probably make these small incremental changes, like make the link bigger and call it policy library or something. Library as a term itself is probably not obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See,
I
we're
agree.
too
So I
close
think,
to it.
yeah, I think we need sort of like think like that, right? Like,
Yeah.
hey, how do we guide users and so
Totally.
they can figure out?
Right.
Yeah.
So let's all think about ways to improve the discoverability of library, I guess, wherever possible. But the problem with like how to use Rego and how to write Rego policies, I think that's like outside of this. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
there's Cell that might help.
Oh wow.
Some.
You just
Well,
have
I'm
to
serious. Like,
you
if
just
the
have to
problem
get that
is,
in there, don't you?
no, I mean,
That was a very sharp turn.
I know. Bam.
So if the language is the barrier, right, and there's an alternative, it's not that I am like pro Cell. I'm actually pretty neutral on that. It's more about, for me, the constraint framework, to be honest. But if it's a blocker, that's one way to address it.
All right. Are we good with this topic, or is there more?
I created an issue about the renaming
Renaming?
Yeah.
the library to policy library
On the website, right?
on the website on the
Okay.
top. Yeah.
And then and then I think like you're gonna make the website changes.
Right. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just probably write something down first, so that we agree on, and we'll also probably write something for the artifact hub things.
Perfect.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else? Or can we get back 18 minutes?
18 minutes.
You do so much
We
in
need a
18
very controversial topic now.
Oh, whoever is taking the notes, this is what exactly I was going to write in that proposal.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I like taking notes because I can't remember anything. So
When we were in the middle of the discussion, I checked like, are we recording this? Because I have to go back and listen to this again. And glad we are doing it. Kind of
Yeah,
same
I think it's
in the same boat.
all go to YouTube.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, we're YouTube stars.
Yeah, it's there's a link in the
all right,
notes.
Max.
Hey, if you knew how many ads these meetings sell, just saying.
Yeah, I was gonna ask like, are we monetizing this? We can at
You're
least use the
welcome,
money.
Google.
That
We can
is
at least
true.
use the money
We're
to get
generating
to
content for Google. Any other topics?
Sponsorships.
Oh yeah, we need paid sponsorships. Like a hello, rate Shadow Legend. We need to do an lttstore.com
I think we just did.
segue to our sponsors. Where's your water bottle next?
It's at home. I try to avoid carrying things to work. It's just nice that way.
It could have been some monetization opportunity. Missed it.
Now, next
Right.
time when people search for those terms, this video is gonna come up.
That's good. Yeah, SEO. Yeah.
And then they're gonna sit through this whole video and be like, what did I just watch?
Something about Artifact Hub? What? Maybe we need to get templates on LTT store.
Yeah, marketing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we can have a water bottle with a constraint template on it.
Print out some source code, put it in the water bottle, the message in a bottle.
You know, speaking of Artifact Hub, I'm just clicking through a few policies and I'm looking at the views over the last 30 days. They're really low. It's all below 4.
I mean, what
just
traffic does
It's like
Artifact Hub?
one per couple of days or something.
What traffic does Artifact Hub as a whole get?
Good question. I don't know. Oh, we could like pick something we know that's like really popular. Let's say I don't know, SIR manager or something.
I looked at Istio. It's like 50-ish.
SIR manager's like 6. Like this is like over the last 30 days is pretty. It's got 600 views or 500 views. Marketing.
Yeah, what's the size? Right. Well, I mean, what's the total addressable market of Kubernetes? What's the penetration of Artifact Hub given
We're
the...
really trying to be PMs now.
Well, no, but seriously, like
I
for
know.
the amount of attention we're paying to it as a marketing device, right? That's honestly a factor for like, as a marketing device, have we spent more in attention than it gives us in value?
Driving daily active users.
Do we get these numbers for our website? I want to do a comparison. I'm serious.
Right. Well, we have GitHub stars. That's good.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, we can do that for website.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm asking.
Okay, let me figure it out. I mean, I think 2 ways. I want to first check like if we can do it natively with the DocuSource. But then if not, then I guess Google Analytics. Like I've used that in the past. So
I mean, we
That-
can look
that-
at the Gatekeeper library, like on GitHub repo traffic, right?
oh yeah,
Like insights, what
I think we would need something like a
traffic.
Google Analytics, but the website is static, so I'm not sure if we can do it, but maybe.
yeah. We can do it. Like I think for like Google Analytics, we just need a snippet. Either that's a JavaScript snippet or something like that.
Yeah, I'm sure DocuSign supports something like that. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
One compliance thing we should figure out if the CNCF has guidance around like monitoring stuff. Not saying it's going to be a blocker, but
I mean, this is okay. But we get these kind of telemetry on GitHub, right? Like if you look at this,
Is it just like the
you can see from the 3rd to the 16th, so that's like 2 weeks. Like we have like at a maximum, we have like
Oh, that's pretty cool.
1,400 views
Mm.
with 119 unique visitors.
I don't
Yeah, I
think
don't think I
have
looked at
access.
this before.
how many views? How many hundred?
1,400 views in 2 weeks. Oh, sorry, that's on that day. On that day, the highest view was 1,400 views.
Can somebody screenshot it?
Oh, you can't see it?
No,
I
don't
have
think
to
we have
log in,
access.
sadly.
Okay, let me share my screen.
The top one is Google.
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
And then the second
Wow.
one is github.com, and then third one is cloud.google.com, and then .go. In
only
AWS.
maintainers can see it, really? Okay.
Yeah, non-maintainers can't see it.
Can you hold on one second? Can you see my screen?
Yep. This
That's
is
what I
interesting.
see.
Oh, that's cloners.
No, this is clone, but this is just
Yeah,
visitors. This is views, right? And
Oof.
And then that's
That's-
referring sites.
well, this is 2 weeks. This is 2 weeks. But if you want to see per day, right? That's like 100. Around 100 per day.
What cloud.google.com? Our docs maybe are driving traffic.
You can click on it and then see it. So like Medium one is Lackey's article. In some other ones, but Google cloud.google.com just says / on it.
I mean, how much information does this show? Is it, they don't really have the referral header, do they? Other than like,
The cloud.google.com does not. But if you go to
okay.
Medium does, for example, like that's Lackey's.
This is
Article.
Medium as well.
Yeah.
There's a few
Mhm.
Medium ones. And then this is just cloud. People explicitly search for deny egress. That's funny.
I believe it. The network security is a big topic.
What else you want to see?
What were some of these other demands? Is there
I
any
think
other?
even if we can get like the number of visitors thing on the
AWS,
website, that would be cool, I
.com.
guess.
Statics Teams CDN Office.net. I smell some
That's
Microsoft
probably our
chat.
team. Yeah, that's probably our team.
I feel like that's traffic coming from Teams, maybe.
So
Yeah,
when we click the website, it goes to some checker, right? And then it opens the link.
yeah.
I
That's,
think
that's like the
that's the
malware
link.
checker
Probably
and stuff.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not much here. Yeah.
And this is the live. Oh, I'm curious. Which has more views, the library repo or gatekeeper repo?
Oh,
I
you were
bet
looking at
you
libraries?
Gatekeeper would have more.
I would think so. But
Well, let's see.
About equivalent.
Definitely more.
Unique visitor. Okay, yeah. Wait, what was the
400 per day. Huh?
visitors? What was the other unique visitors? Is that 600-ish
It's
or so?
100. Library is about 100.
570 or something, I thought.
Oh, I was
No,
looking at the one at the
100
bottom.
per day, you said, right? The unique user was 845, right? Sorry.
This is 2 weeks basically, right?
Oh,
But per day it's about 100 if you look.
got it.
So
And
we're over
here-
3x traffic on the main repo.
Mhm. As I would expect, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly our point. People aren't looking at library for whatever reason.
Yeah, I think we need
but
more.
I feel like there should be more traffic. Maybe, I don't know. I have no idea.
I mean, unclear. So some of that could be
I
the
can go back.
discoverability thing.
I wish I could go back in time, like trend.
Some of it could also be types of users, right? Like, are we more popular with people who tend to roll their own? That'd be interesting. Roll their own templates, I mean.
I don't know. We should definitely add telemetry stuff to the websites. That way we can see the same.
Yep. At least number of visitor and things like that. So we will have some
Can we
idea.
see from the Gatekeeper website today? Is that possible?
It's the same docu-source. So if it's there, I'll add for both.
Oh, I see. It's basically
Yeah.
the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
The docu-source is like underline engine, I guess.
Knowing which pages are popular would be revealing, because it could be that, like, I could also see you visit the library once, right? And then you visit Gatekeeper a few times as you need to like tune everything. Like, hey, how do I add exclusions? Or this thing keeps crashing. How do I do HA or whatever?
Right. Hey, since we have a couple minutes left, can we talk about this so we can get PRs merged?
How about that 18 minutes?
Well, you took you
Oh.
guys took like 5-10 minutes already to look at numbers.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with it. I just wanted to
Confirm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I mean I like Rita's point because it would be really hard for us to keep a track otherwise. If we are like not doing it automated way or with code, I mean.
Yeah, and if these changes might be salient, right? A change to an annotation,
Yeah.
what that means is hard to
That's
know.
why I'm like, I don't want to make that decision every time.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh,
Cool.
can we scroll up? There is one interesting comment and I don't know what that is. Sartash, like the second comment you
Which
put
one?
over there. What policy, what kind of permission is that?
I think this is what we have been using. I asked Will about this before. I don't remember. I'll send you the doc about this one.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, are they both just octal?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I thought usually it
I
was
thought it was in hex, but
oh, maybe 0x is hex.
yeah, 0x is hex. You're right. Correct.
Yeah, so 00 versus 0755.
Yeah, so this is what we use in Gatekeeper. I think also the Golang CA lint would automatically correct to this format. I think we also need to add the linters to it. Yeah.
I'll be curious as to how they're different, but yeah.
Yeah, I asked
share any-
Will before.
Why didn't the linter do it for?
We don't have linters. There's an open issue for it.
Oh.
Hashtag YOLO.
Yeah. I asked Will about this before. Then he did send me something and I forgot about this now.
Yeah, I'm not even sure what you would search for. Like, what are the keywords for this?
Yeah, I tried to search, but then I tried to look at
we
both
can
like
say
other
what was a
systems.
linter, right? Golang linter, whatever this is.
There it is. Oh, you already did search. Oh, think it's a hard
Awful, maybe?
term. 'Cause you can't just say like 755, right?
Mm.
0755 versus 00755. Maybe that will give a result.
But that's just like permission, though. Like,
Yeah.
could be like 644, whatever. Right?
Yeah. I'm just saying, like the magic thing here is the lowercase o. What is that meant to do?
Yeah, I think Max knows the
This is
hidden
file
implementation
permission,
of search.
Oh, I found it. Okay, here. This is the thing I asked Will about this one.
right? Okay. Where? This one?
It's in chat.
I clicked too many times.
And can you expand my first comment?
Where? This
The first, that one, I think. Yeah.
is new. Oh.
Okay, so it's just a different format. It means the same thing.
Yeah, I don't think it changed. It's just basically a new format, and I think the linter will automatically update to this one.
It's easier to spot mistakes like this. Okay. Interesting.
I never knew that.
Yeah, me neither until September 27, 2021.
Cool.
All right. Well, that used up all of our 12 minutes or whatever.
Hey, but we learned something new.
Yeah. All right. Good to see y'all.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.
Yeah.